to see people show up to an event that we just were willing to put on and actually walk away. Like, it just blows my mind that they're actually walking away and having these life-changing stories about how God has shown up for them and become real. And I think it just blows my mind. I think that's the biggest highlight is we knew that this was going to be like a big event, and we have these giant dreams of having all these girls show up, and it actually happened. And not only did they show up, but they walked away closer to Jesus, learning more about him, with greater, deeper friendships. And a lot of them were like, this weekend changed my life.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I've experienced personally when I was in high school, in college, is these events being something that I just showed up to, knowing that we're going to worship and we're going to learn about Jesus, and walking away completely changed. And so that's just one big thing that I'm excited for, and I think it's going to happen again. It's just cool. It's like Justice and I sitting outside of girls' conference, and like the day of, or as people were walking in, and we just took a moment outside and we're like, yo, people are here. Like, we saw people registering, and all these just names coming in, people that we knew, people that we didn't know. And then we walked out and the lobby was full, and people are snapping photos of the photo booth and buying merch, and then just seeing the first worship song, everyone up front with their arms raised and jumping. It was just like the coolest thing ever. So it just blew my mind. God blew my mind.
Okay, my favorite thing, or my biggest takeaway, has been getting to see what God can do with the dreams that he puts on your heart. And so he gave Anna this dream and was like, hey, I really think you should do this. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then just to see God come and fulfill every little desire that we had for this conference. He came and he showed up in way bigger ways than we ever could have imagined. And so it's just cool to see God can give you a little dream, and then once you take it and be like, okay, God, I'm all in, whatever you want to do, how he just blesses it and it explodes, because it's literally what has happened. I remember first night, or I think it was the first night of year 1. And there was an altar call, and first off, we were sitting outside, we were like, this is so amazing, people showed up to this. But there was an altar call, and that's when everything just kind of shifted, because over half the room just without hesitation fled to the front and down on their knees, just all in for God, and walked out completely changed. And before that, we were like, this is what we want to see happen. But there's always that God, are you gonna show up? Are you going to do this?
I knew he was going to show up.
She's a better Christian than me. I questioned. I was like, is this going to be as big as I'm really feeling like it's going to be? And then it was, and it drastically changed my view of what God is capable of doing. So
I showed up first year attending, just nothing. I had no idea about anything that went on. I hardly knew who you guys were, and because I was brand new to the church, and it was kind of oh, well, everybody else is going, might as well. And then I dragged some other people along, and it was kind of, year 1 and year 2 were very different in the way that I was impacted. Year 1 was very heavily personally within my own testimony and my own identity was radically changed. It was something I grew up in a Christian house, so it was always this is who you are in Jesus, and this is who Jesus says you are, and I'm I know that, but for the first time ever, I started to believe it, and I started to live in that, and it was something that there are very few points in my life where I was this is something that happened, and I could see his fruitfulness in that afterwards. And VIP was the first time I ever had seen that and seen my life change, and it was also the first time I felt a call to ministry vocationally. And this is where I was I'm called on purpose, for a purpose, to bring about more in his kingdom, and also just being able to do that with my friends and walk alongside them and see them have the same thing. And year 2 was like totally different, and I had a different perspective going into it, especially after because it was right on the heels of the Asbury revival. And I was like, this is like, there's no way this isn't on purpose. Like that, there's
That was so
legitimately
awesome.
spiritual revival across the country, and like this is the time that God chose, especially because conference was moved to a different date the first year, and I was like, there's no way like we can't take this seriously. And just to see like the revival like in like this like in a sense small room of like all these other girls. And the impact for me was like watching it, and not as much like the Lord like personally affecting my story, but using other stories to affect mine, and like really just like encourage me and sustain me like going throughout the rest of the year.
Let's see. Okay, VIP year 1, I didn't really know anybody except for Anna and Preston. That's it. And I was going through the season of loneliness and a lot of grief and a lot of loss. And I just came in almost like grasping for something because I didn't know what I wanted. Had goals and dreams, but didn't really know what they were or how to achieve them. And just walking in, immediately feeling welcome, not only like in the conference aspect, but just this church and the girls and just all the people here. And it was almost like God was saying, like, I still see you, and I have a plan for your life, whether you know it or not. And that just kind of kept unraveling into year 2, still not knowing a ton of people super well. But then just seeing, the biggest word that stood out was like God's faithfulness. Yeah. And he'll never leave us, and he never forsakes us. He's just there walking with us, whether we see it or acknowledge it. And it kind of took conference for me to be like, okay, God, I see you. And he was like, me like just crying out to him, like, God, like, where are you? He's like, I've been here all along, like, I haven't left you. You just have to accept that I'm here walking with you. And that's kind of what conference has done for me. It's given me just a new outlook on God's faithfulness, a new outlook on his love and his grace for us, and a new community. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so thankful for what VIP has done, and just to see how like mine and my family's life has changed because of a girls' conference. Like,
I think it's been really cool. Like, year 1, I didn't expect this, really. I didn't know what to expect with year 1 at all, because it was just kind of, all right, here we go. Like, we're just obeying, here we go.
I thought we'd only do a year 1.
That's true, too.
I was like, cool,
we didn't
one
know,
conference, let's go.
Right, we didn't know we were going to do more.
And then
but here we are.
The last, sorry, I cut you off, but the last day, someone was like, girls' conference next year? And we're like,
what? Yeah! And then we're like, okay, we committed. We told somebody.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
You said.
Oh, yeah, I got it. But it was really cool because there was just, I mean, obviously it was like the Holy Spirit, but as the girls would like walk in the door, it was just like a different atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't anything that like we had done to like get ready for the conference. It was just like a completely different. They came in like, it was really, really fun and like upbeat and hype and like super fun, but everybody who walked in that door had such a serious heart for what was going on. And it was almost like what the definition of like actual like relationship and Christianity with Jesus is like. I know a lot of people think of it as like, oh, Christians are boring, but like VIP was like, no, this is like, you can have so much fun, you can have like the most joy, go crazy, but like also be so serious in the same moment. And be like, I'm gonna jump around with you and we're gonna have a blast, but I'm also gonna like not be afraid to be on my knees bawling my eyes out with you. Like, it's the same. And then 2 seconds later, I could also be right back on my feet, like jumping and going crazy with you. And it was just, yeah, there's just this seriousness that everybody has. Like, they know why they're here, they know what they're coming for. Like, even if they don't know that it's Jesus, they know there's something like different about when they walk through those doors. And obviously we know it's Jesus, it's the Holy Spirit, but
it's like a little glimpse of what I think heaven's gonna be like.
Yes.
Just like all of us in one, for one purpose and one, like, there's unity in the room, and there's
but everybody's
just,
so unique.
yeah.
But we're all there like on fire for Jesus, and it's just,
Everyone
I
just
don't
brings
know.
their own story, and it just makes this beautiful.
I think it was, it was so cool how there's girls walking in who didn't even know, like, who is this Jesus guy? But then there was girls who came in who, like, always walked with Jesus.
Yeah.
Yet everybody encountered Jesus in, like, the same but different way. Everybody left changed in some way. And I think it's just such a testament of how the Holy Spirit works, that, like, this conference literally is for everybody, no matter
Every
what
walk of
walk.
life,
Yeah.
Like you could be following Jesus for your whole life and still find something new,
Yeah.
a deeper
Or
understanding.
never gone to church ever, and it's a place that you feel like
It's okay.
it's okay. Like it's not like I'm walking into church and this is
and
scary.
like everybody knows what to do and I don't
Yeah.
know what to do.
Yeah.
It's definitely not like that at all.
Yeah, no.
No.
And the other thing too is like it's purely all about Jesus. Like
Yeah.
that, even like going back to that whole like presentation of the gospel from beginning to the end, it's like, no, this is the person on which it's founded. And I think sometimes like I've been to a lot of different conferences and like massive grand scale things, and I think I've talked about this before, but it's like there's something different. Like those are like so fun when you're in a room with like 25,000 people and you're all doing it, but there's something about a conference specifically of this size, and even just like this intent of like it carries a certain kind of intimacy that like it's not just like, oh, everybody here together. It's like a sisterhood kind of feel. And like there were people that I had like never talked to, but it was like it was so okay to like be like crying over them or putting hands on them or praying for them. It's like I have no idea who you are, and I like even like year one I didn't see them year two because they're like there's so many people going around, but there's just something different specifically about VIP that conferences that I've been to that like they didn't have them. And that's not like a bad thing. It's just like, I don't know. I think it just has to go back to like, it's just a testimony of the Lord's faithfulness in like in your guys' lives, and then also in what he did in this conference and the fact that he's allowed us to like continue that.